Hello ladies and gentlemen, hello Professor Takisha McMiller. Thank you for giving me this opportunity. It is time for us to begin thinking about the tragedies that a piece of diamond, a gram of gold, a liter of oil, a cubic meter of natural gas and a sack of coal might have witnessed before they arrived at our homes. Today, my speech mainly focuses on the real dangers of agricultural investments in one of the world's poorest countries, Ethiopia. I also provide you an overview about the crisis of land grabbing and urge the public to influence foreign donors to Ethiopia, the United States, United Kingdom, World Bank, and European Union to ensure that their donation should not facilitate forced displacement and associated human rights violations by the name of development. A land grab refers to a land acquisition that has been caused displacement, dispossession, and exclusion. Or, according to the Institute of Development Studies, it may also more broadly refer to mass purchasing of agricultural lands by transnational companies. According to Human Rights Watch report, Ethiopia leased out at least 3.6 million hectares of land from 2008 through January 2011, an area the size of the Netherlands. Even though the Ethiopian government claims that these investments will have a huge technological and economic benefits, on the contrary, the implication of unbalanced land acquisitions carries out the seeds of conflict, human rights violation, environmental disaster, political and social impact, and hunger on unprecedented scale. Now, let me look at the potential benefits of the investment. Based on this experience, the Ethiopian government claims that the land policy will allow transfer of technology to smallholder farmers, infrastructure improvement efforts either through direct development or financial contribution, and massive amount of employment opportunity to the local people. Aside the potential benefits, my second and third point will mainly focus on the crisis of the investment. One of the major crises of this investment is human rights violation, a forced displacement. An investigation by the Oakland Institute based on the United States revealed through interviews with impacted communities and social societies, the Ethiopian government has forcibly displaced hundreds of thousands of indigenous people from their lands. Ethiopian officials have also beaten, arrested, and intimidated individuals who have refused to comply with relocation policies. Another human right violation is food insecurity and losses of livelihood. This relocation process has destroyed the livelihoods of indigenous people. It has rendered small-scale farmers and pastoralist communities dependent on food aid and fearful for their own survival. My third point is the social and environmental impacts of the investment. One of the social impact is the increase in conflict around the local people. One of the major environmental threats of facing Ethiopia is land investment related conflict. As population increases, the availability of land resources become more finite. The likelihood of conflict dramatically increases. According to the German-based Environment, Conflict and Cooperation publication newsletter, the Ethiopian land leases extend for several decades and the maximum price amount to US $10 per hectare. Whereas Ethiopian farmers on the other hand often do not possess land certificates and have only land use rights, which they can be deprived at any time. My second point is environmental impact. Large-scale mechanized agriculture production often entails the use of fertilizers and intensive farming techniques that have been criticized by numerous civil society actors as extremely ecological determinal and environmentally harmful over the long run. Another environmental impact is deforestation. Other potentially significant adverse environmental impact is deforestation. The degree of deforestation particularly includes loss of degradation of wetlands, decrease in quantity and quality of wildlife population and habitat. Finally, the Ethiopian government claims that foreign investment in agriculture will bring economic development, modernize agriculture, bring new technologies, create employment, and eventually reduce hunger and poverty. However, investigation by the Auckland Institute and other non-governmental organizations indicate that large-scale plantations on the ground generate little perceived employment benefit and bring limited opportunity for the local people. In the process of villagization, the government has destroyed livelihoods and has rendered small-scale farmers and pastoral communities dependent on food aid and fearful of their own survival. These actions are in direct violation of Ethiopia's obligations under international human rights law. Finally, I urge my audience as donor nation to speak out and demand none of these funds not to support or facilitate directly or indirectly the forced villagization program and use your voice to influence the Ethiopian government to comply with its own constitution and international laws that recognize indigenous peoples' rights. Thank you for your listening. Thank you very much.